Thank you very much. And thank you to all, Secretary General, ministers, regulators, industry members, friends, and colleagues for having me here today to talk about how Amazon's innovations will help connect the unconnected. I'm Nina Beebe. I'm part of Amazon's regulatory team working on Project Kuiper, which is our new initiative to provide broadband satellite service with high speed and low latency around the world. Just a bit about Amazon, because I think it's very important to how we approach the connectivity problem. Amazon is built around three big ideas: customer obsession, long-term thinking, and a willingness to invent. And our mission is to be Earth's most consumer-centric company. And that sets us up well to address a lot of the challenges that we've been hearing about from ministers today. Many of you already know Amazon as a technology company with an ability to innovate and scale, with customers in 180 countries, and with the experience of building new digital products that improve customers' lives. So we knew we could deliver an affordable, high-speed broadband solution to tens of millions of customers in unserved and underserved communities and beyond the reach of traditional solutions. So the Kuiper satellite network is how Amazon is innovating to bring these ideas to life. It's part of a new generation of satellite networks, NGSO, LEO satellite networks. You heard some about these network types earlier today in the session, so I won't spend a lot of time on how they're distinct. But they do include a lot of innovations, including being closer to Earth so that they can deliver lower latency, using software-defined networking, integrated cloud computing, adaptive coding modulation, and other cutting-edge developments. Amazon also thinks long-term, and that's why privacy and security, space safety and sustainability have been core tenets and a design focus for us from day one. We also heard about these principles earlier, and I'd be happy to talk to anyone offline about those. So we are investing $10 billion into the Kuiper network, which includes making the biggest ever commercial procurement for satellite launch capacity. We aren't launched yet, but you will be hearing more from us in the coming months and years. So we believe that the real world matters to customers, how they access the digital world and take advantage of digital transformation. And we want to change customers' relationships with technologies that deliver digital development. But to do this, we have to get internet connectivity into users' hands. We've heard a lot of really interesting statistics about the digital divide, and I don't need to tell you how that functions in your countries. But I'd like to pick up quickly on a few of the themes that I think have been important. Ministers talked about the need to push out e-government services and to enable consumers to do everyday things like accessing financial services online. So Kuiper will power citizens' access to government services, to banking, to education, schools and hospitals, and in other types of government networks in space. Our constellation will also serve small businesses as well as industry, including mobility applications like maritime and aero. And we heard also about a trend towards convergence and complementarity yesterday between satellite and mobile. So part of our solution is providing backhaul solutions to wireless carriers so that they can extend their service. And this also gives local partners more of a stake and contributes to how other sectors help to reduce the digital divide. Speakers have also talked about the challenges of attracting investment. So building and launching satellites is only part of that equation. To deploy service globally, we'll also partner with local ISPs, mobile operators, and facilities providers in certain markets so that we're adding value to their service offerings and helping bring jobs and skills development. Skills development is something that Amazon is very actively engaged in all of the countries where it operates. And so that will also help bring digital skills. But perhaps the thing that we've heard about most often through these sessions has been affordability. And in our innovation, Amazon has relentlessly focused on creating customer terminals that can be affordable and lower cost, and that will offer options that respond to the needs of different local environments, whether those are individual terminals at customer, business, or government premises, or shared networks of some type. Just a quick note, again, some of the earlier speakers kind of made many of my points for me, but I will say here that digital transformation depends on high-speed, low-latency service, and low latency is very important. This is one of the things that differentiates low Earth orbit networks and enables high bandwidth applications like video conferences and applications that require a large amount of data. LEO systems are over 60 times closer to Earth, and other elements of the network design also help to create this low latency and high speed capability. A note on our system architecture. Kuiper uses the Ka band to serve both gateways and customer terminals. We use software-defined networking to coordinate and steer beams and allocate bandwidth in a flexible system. And we offer complete end-to-end encryption to address those cybersecurity concerns. But we see the global network in terms of a 70-30 ratio. And that means that satellites and ground stations are just 30% of what it takes to create a global satellite network. Because about 70% of the overall effort that happens is actually on the ground. And that means moving and storing data securely, delivering terminals to customers' homes efficiently when they order service, providing customer service, managing billing, and all the things that Amazon has in place today to support its other digital offerings. I'll say also that Amazon Web Services is part of how we will manage the ground segment in our global network. AWS is the world's most broadly adopted cloud platform, and we expect to buy many of its services to operate securely and at global scale and to enable data computing, storage, processing, and analytics. AWS has more than 100,000 partners from more than 150 countries, and this helps us to create a really efficient, integrated global network. It's also backed up by fully redundant and secure fiber networks connected by transoceanic cables. Coming back to practical matters, I think I'll also spend just a few minutes on what it takes for governments to enable these kinds of systems. Last year, satellite industry members through the association GSOA, from whom you've heard, contributed a number of recommendations to the ATU's policy framework for licensing satellite service. And here are a few things that we highlighted. Consistency with ITU procedures and recommendations, transparency and regulatory certainty, an open skies policy, not requiring gateways and data localization in every country. Malawi made a very interesting point related to that that I'd like to follow up on after the session. But these things help to reduce cost. Blanket licensing, reasonable fees, adoption of rules for mobile terminals, and type approval using internationally recognized specifications. We also know from the World Bank and others that cloud services are an on-ramp to internet connectivity and underpin digital transformation. And so governments must also treat cloud as an enabler and adopt policies that foster it. And a brief note on international regulation. The dynamic nature, small footprint, and efficient spectrum access by NGSO systems actually make coordination easier than with traditional satellite networks and better enable frequency sharing. But many of the ITU rules for NGSO satellites favor incumbent technologies. Because spectrum is limited, we need to protect existing systems while fostering growth and innovation for new systems through clearer, more equitable spectrum sharing rules. And these rules should prioritize competition and innovation rather than simply protecting legacy systems so that the benefits of these types of systems can be brought to you more readily. I'd be happy to connect with any of you offline on these points. Just to close, we believe that there is no one single system that will solve all the connectivity challenges. We need multiple technologies to close the digital divide. But we also know that there's a huge demand for NGSO, LEO broadband systems to solve the unique challenges of geography, affordability, accessibility. So let's work together to respond to this need and to put the tools of digital development in people's hands. Thank you very much.